The LeBron-less Lakers were handed a 109-102 loss last night to the defending champion Bucks. Giannis scored 47 points while Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook were held to 37 points combined. King James could reportedly return tomorrow against the Celtics, which is good since the team is right now 3-5 since he's been out with the abdominal injury. We're now joined by First Things First co-host Chris Broussard. Chris, why haven't the Lakers been able to win without LeBron?
Well, look, and I already know where Skip's going, and probably Shannon too. And the easy and sexy answer is to blame it all on Russell Westbrook, right? He's turning the ball over, throwing it all over the place. But last night, 19 points, 15 assists, only 3 turnovers. He played a solid game. Frank Vogel called it his best game since he had been there. And I like it, a little bit off the ball. When THT is handling it, that'll bode well for when LeBron gets back. But I'm going to look, Russ has been a problem a little bit, but I'm just saying he's not the whole thing. I'm looking at Anthony Davis, too. All right, Anthony Davis started the season like he wanted to be in the MVP discussion, but he doesn't seem like he really wants to carry that load every night, which he needs to do when LeBron is not there for sure. And if you look at their last 3 losses, Minnesota, Chicago, last night against Milwaukee, he's only averaged 20 points and 8 rebounds in those games. And more telling, he's only averaged 12 shot attempts in those games, and 6 free throw attempts. So, I know some teams are doubling him in the post, and he's got to move the ball when that happens. Some of that happened last night. But he also needs to be more aggressive. And I look at Giannis and juxtapose those two. Last night, Giannis said, "This is my game." It was close in the fourth quarter. Last 3 minutes, Lakers are within 6 or 8. Giannis has back-to-back 3-point plays. He was more aggressive. So AD's got to step up in games like this when LeBron's not there and be more aggressive. I could talk about Melo. Look, Melo's been nice for a role player. But now without LeBron, he moves up a notch in the pecking order. And he can't do it every night. Last 5 games, he's averaged 10 points a game. So if he's just a role player off the bench, LeBron, AD, Russ are scoring, he's fine. But if you need more from him, you can't count on him every night. And finally, guys, I mentioned Giannis going off late, or really all night. Defensively, the Lakers have been top 3 the last 2 years. This year, they're 15th. Small, quicker teams like Chicago give them trouble. And last night, they couldn't stop Giannis, who obviously plays big. So those are the reasons that they're struggling. And obviously, LeBron answers a good amount of that stuff.
Yeah, well, your second answer was what Skip and I both went to. Mm-hmm. But for me, I thought LeBron being out, we know no one influences winning quite like LeBron James. His team wins 66% of the time. When he's there, they only win 36% of the time when he's not there. So that has something to do with it. But I went with Anthony Davis because we think Anthony Davis is a top 10 player with top 5 talent. And when LeBron James is on the court, it's okay for AD to be a top 10 player, a top 10 talent. But when he's removed, when LeBron has been removed, Anthony Davis can no longer just be a top 5 talent. He needs to be a top 5 player. He needs to say, you know what, because that's the reason they got him. They say as LeBron James starts to age out and we start to phase out, now it's Anthony Davis' time. We need that AD that was averaging 28 and 12, the guy that averages 27 and 11. That's what we need on a nightly basis. The only difference between Giannis and AD is because I believe AD is just as skilled, just as talented as mindset. Anthony Davis does not bring the same mindset on a nightly basis that I'm going to dominate you tonight. I'm going to dominate you every possession. I'm going to dominate you on both ends of the court. That's what Giannis said. Giannis like, you know what? Man, we struggling. Holiday is sucking it up. Middleton just got back. You know what? I'm a 2-time MVP. I'm a finals MVP. Let me show why I got this award. And he goes give you 40-79. Anthony Davis needs to take that mindset, Chris, that says, you know what? Not only am I a top 5 talent, I'm a top 5 player. And we see, you mentioned Milwaukee 18-9, Minnesota 22-8, Chicago, he was ejected 20-6. But against Charlotte, 32-12. Against San Antonio, 34-15. You remember down the stretch last year, Chris? They played Phoenix, and he dominated Ayton. I think he gave something like 37 and 15. Played Nikola Jokic, Joker. Dominated it. That's what they need. And this is why they got Russ, Skip. If LeBron is injured for any length of time, if he takes off, we got two superstars. You should be able to win with two superstars, regardless who you surround them with. Look, Russ is Russ. But AD is in his prime. AD got to give me, when LeBron is out, I expect him to give me at least 30 and 15 every single game that LeBron is not there with him.
My turn. I am shocked to the point of being appalled that the Los Angeles Lakers, who are more fakers right now,
there you go,
are 8-8, and 12 of those 16 games have been at home. What? You've got Westbrook and AD to hold down the fort, and you're 8-8, and two of your wins with LeBron playing came against Houston at home in virtual back-to-backs. There were 2 games in 3 days. And Houston is now 1-14. That's 2 of your wins. That was with LeBron, who went 4-2. Wow, that's horrible. Well, doesn't the GM, the real GM, LeBron James, deserve some blame here? Because he handpicked AD, he handpicked Russell Westbrook, and said, I want him, and I will move heaven and earth to get him out of New Orleans, and I don't want to hear another peep about Buddy Hield. I want Russ. And LeBron, highest IQ in basketball, although I begin to doubt now his GM capabilities, because he chose 2 very flawed players. Because we all know AD, as gifted as he is, too often has a low motor. Am I right? Last night he was low motor all night. I can't explain why. You just got to push his button. Maybe LeBron can push it a little better when LeBron's on the court, but he's got too low of a motor, and Russ has too high of a motor.
Right.
Because Russ plays constantly out of control. In the end, Russ is nothing but a solo act of a stat machine, who is the worst superstar jump shooter we've ever seen, and who is going to lead the league in turnovers once again, because he's pulling away in that department. LeBron chose him. Culpable. LeBron chose AD. Culpable. And last night, Russ did play his best game. And it helped what? It didn't get them anywhere, because they were in position to maybe steal this game on the road against a Milwaukee. Still doesn't have Brook Lopez, still doesn't have DiVincenzo, only playing for the 3rd time with its big 3 together on the court at the same time. And what happens down the stretch? The Lakers missed their last 16 three-point shots. That's hard to do. 5 in the 3rd and all 11 in the 4th.
Right.
And their body language to me was like, we don't have the big guy. We don't have our main man. Save us, LeBron. That's what all their body language was. Like, we can't do this without our guy. He's in year 19, and more he's getting nicked and knacked. And it's just what happens when you've played the 3rd most minutes in the history of professional basketball. And I'm going to knock on wood for him. LeBron's going to come, we think, by Friday off his ab strain. But he's had groins and he's had ankles, and God bless him. Who knows what little knick-knack injuries he's going to have down the stretch, where you need to fall back on your other big 3, you know, the other 2 members of your big 3. And they can't win these games that are begging to be won, even that game last night. So pretty soon you're going to have seed problems, because you're going to fall to the bottom of the seeds.
Well, Chris, I believe ultimately this is why they went with Russell Westbrook. While Buddy Hield might be a better fit, LeBron James doesn't play. Buddy Hield and AD is not going to probably win you the games that they thought Russell and AD could win. But it doesn't look like hell.
By that, you would think so. On paper, you'd say 2 slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famers. Really?
But Chris, I need AD to give me more. AD, you can't tell me AD is not just as talented as Giannis. It's just his mindset. He can shoot better from the field than Giannis. Now, Giannis has turned himself. He looks to be shooting the 3 a little bit better, Skip. He got to the free throw line. He made, 8 of 11 last night. 6 of 8 in the 4th quarter. Yep. But AD's got to have the mindset that says, I don't care. I'm dominating this game. I'm dominating every play.
By the way, he used to be decent from 3, and he has fallen down.
Yeah, he's dropped off a cliff.
Ooh,
he's dropped off a cliff.
Man, he can't smell it.
Well, look, let's face it. At one time, not that long ago, AD was ahead of Giannis.
Yes.
And now, it's not even close, really, at this point. And you're right, Shannon. If AD had the mentality we're talking about he needs to have, they may not go get Russ. Maybe they feel like, you know what, with AD dominating, Buddy Hield and the rest of the guys would be enough to win. And look, this is why some people, including myself, felt that it was premature to put Anthony Davis on the top 75 team. Because I don't think he's got the title, but he won, one playoff series in New Orleans?
Yep.
And he doesn't bring it he should have taken off last year after winning that championship and taken the torch from LeBron.